Streaming.
Oh, okay. It's live now. I can see that it's live now. Okay.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Simply Jewel Health Services. We are live, and everybody, I just want you to know that this is my first time trying this, and we'll wait. Let's just wait and see if we can get some people to come on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. And while we're waiting, I just want to be the first to let them know that the reason for my um, picture being up is because I've had a crazy day today and I did not put my face on. And because I am the creator of Simply Jewel Cosmetics, um, I do not want to be criticized at our first live podcast and first live here on Simply Jewel Cosmetics and Health Services. If you are on YouTube, it is Simply Jewel TV. Instagram, I am Simply Jewel. And if you would please go to the website, simplyjewel.com. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, how's our sound? Let's do sound check.
It's good
How's
on
it
my
going?
end.
Okay. Do you hear crackling?
I do hear crackling.
I'm wondering if it's too loud. Is that better?
Say something again.
Testing one, two.
It's still a little bit of crackling, but less.
Okay. Well, we'll try it this way. And
Are you hearing crackling on my end when I talk?
no, none at all.
Okay.
Okay, so if everybody can understand, this is what happens when you go live, technical difficulties. And we'll just have to let that be the reason. Okay, ma'am. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So last time we kind of touched on, what being a doula is, the importance of having a doula, especially for Black women in particular. And today I just wanted to kind of touch on uh, perinatal mood disorders. A lot of people aren't familiar with the term perinatal. So I'll start by explaining what that means. We only hear prenatal, but really, when we give birth, when we have babies, it's not just during pregnancy that we're experiencing emotional, hormonal, mental, and physical changes. So perinatal just covers the from conception, from the start of pregnancy until the
Uh-huh.
first year after birth, because we found that it takes up to a year for hormone levels to level out, especially when you're nursing, that keeps your hormone levels similar to pregnancy. So it really takes our body up until that first year after birth to level out our hormones and kind of get back to um, normal. So the perinatal period is um, from birth, from conception until 1 year after birth. And what is being found is that many women, it's believed 1 in 5 women, that's what research is showing, 1 in 5 women experience some kind of perinatal mood disorder, which we use the term perinatal mood disorder instead of postpartum depression because many times it does not manifest as depression. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it manifests as anxiety, panic disorders, OCD, bipolar, all of these kind of mental health issues. And it's believed that the stressors of pregnancy, the stressors hormonally, on our body kind of helps catalyze that. So we're finding that a lot of women that are being diagnosed or that have perinatal mood disorders have not even experienced or been diagnosed prior to pregnancy. So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Nice. Okay. So you're saying that they, during birth, they have an experience. I'm trying to get the volume right so that we're not cracking. But that last part, I heard you, but then can you say it one more time?
So many women prior to pregnancy have not been diagnosed with any kind of mood disorder like depression, anxiety, OCD, bipolar. And so when these things begin to occur, many times they go unnoticed, they go overlooked, um, or they just are missed because we
Right.
don't
Okay.
recognize the mental health issues that we're suffering from. And one in
Right. That
five
is
women
true.
suffer from some kind of perinatal mood disorder um, during pregnancy or after birth.
And so being misdiagnosed pretty much, correct?
Um, Not diagnosed at all. That's what we're finding. Um, a lot of women, when they think of postpartum depression, they think of postpartum psychosis, which is I want to harm my baby, or I want to harm myself, and that's just not how it is. Um, you know, there is a small portion of women that experience postpartum psychosis, but there are other mental health issues that affects women during pregnancy and postpartum.
Nice. Okay. Yes. And what other things can you do? We have treatment or interventions. Um, what are what are you able to do with your business? How are you able to assist?
Well, first, when we first come in as doulas, um, a lot of times what we're finding is there are risk factors that kind of help catalyze or help push women to have these mental health issues that they're struggling with. So, the biggest things that we try to make sure that we have is support. That's the number one thing that can help kind of protect women during this, as well as help support them through it. Because, some women, they're just going to struggle with mental health issues, during pregnancy because it's a lot. It's a lot on the body, it's a lot on the mind. Not to mention, stressors, work, loss of job, even like the pandemic, we're seeing increased rates of mental health issues um, from everyone, the general population, but in addition, pregnant women. So, having a supportive companion or advocate like a doula, like a spouse, having supportive professionals. So, doctors and midwives and nurses that are listening to you and understanding what you're saying to them, how you're feeling about them. And then when you reach out and say, hey, I'm not, something's wrong, like, I'm crying excessively, or, these kind of things that they're recognizing that, okay, this is not a normal part of pregnancy. What can we do to help get them where they need to be? And then just time and space to talk. A lot of women don't have um, time or the space to just talk about the stressors of pregnancy, the stressors of life, the relationship struggles, all of those things. So with perinatal mood disorders, we find that, women who have a traumatic birth are at higher risk. Women who have relationship problems are at a higher risk during pregnancy, experiencing some kind of loss, or grief. Even like things like multiple children under a certain age can be a stressor, um, as well as things like the pandemic, being isolated or
Mm-hmm.
job loss. All of those things kind of help. Even poverty, that's a big one. The many stresses of being impoverished, and then adding on the hormonal changes, the physical changes, and then the demand of, I'm already impoverished, and now I have to figure out how to make ends meet for this new life that I'm bringing in. So we find that women who are in poverty have a higher risk of having perinatal mood disorders. And then also, of course, if you have a family history of perinatal mood disorders, so if your mom or your grandmother, or some kind of family history of someone suffering from postpartum depression, psychosis, anxiety, or anything like that, in addition to any pre-existing mental health conditions. So if you already struggle with depression, anxiety prior to pregnancy, then that can be a struggle or issue that we see heightened during pregnancy.
Yes, uh-huh, yes. And then with them being pregnant, of course, there's no medication that's being prescribed. How do they monitor? Um,
Actually, there are some medications that they have found that pregnant women can help. Now, a lot of times with certain disorders such as bipolar, schizophrenia, some of those medications they are unable to take. But it's important that we talk to our OBs and midwives or practitioners and discuss the mental health issues that we have already, as well as if there are new symptoms that are occurring, so that they can find proper medication to help manage it, or refer out to some kind of therapist, counselor, or mental health specialist to help moms work through and support those things, because sometimes it's just a matter of lowering the dose, or changing the type of medication that is as that is administered. Sorry, but a lot of times there are alternatives that can be taken during pregnancy.
nice. Okay. Okay. And let's see. We've got about 13 minutes in where we're trying to give gems and nuggets. Um, I had some questions written down, but it seems like I would like to go back over um, the difference between a doula and a midwife. Can you make it clear to the audience?
Sure. So a midwife is essentially professional, sometimes a doctor of nursing, but other times there is um, kind of like apprenticeship doulas where they're not a nurse, but they are a doctor of their field. So they've studied midwifery and they catch the baby. So they deliver the baby. Doulas are support people. We do not deliver babies. We help support mom. We're there during birth, but we do not catch babies. We're there to support mom, to help mom. So we help with providing information to mom about the things that midwife, doctor, nurse, medical professional is providing. We help them know their rights, as well as help supporting them emotionally and physically during childbirth and after, for some period. It varies. There are postpartum doulas that work specifically with moms after birth, but I'm a birth
Hmm.
doula, so I work with moms during the prenatal period, and then um, right after birth, probably up until about 6 weeks or so,
Hmm.
and
And
just providing support, making sure that mom is healthy, baby is healthy, making sure that they're being heard, that they know their rights, that they're educated on all of the decisions that they're making when it comes to childbirth and the birthing process.
nice. And what age groups do you normally work with? I know that doulas, well, you, what am I trying to say? Are you more accommodating to uh, young teens or just all age groups?
All age groups, all age groups. It's
That's
my
nice.
belief that every woman deserves a doula.
Right.
There are a special group of us that do focus on teens. There are programs out there in which teens are provided a doula for free or low cost. Um, but I work with moms of all age. Any mom that reaches out to me, I'll try to meet their needs or accommodate, in any way that I can. Because, like I said, it's my belief that every woman deserves um, a doula. Every woman deserves an advocate, and that's what I see myself as.
Very nice. Very nice. And um, how many years have you been doing this? Because you got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. I appreciate that.
So I've only been officially trained for a little over a year in doing this, but prior to me being trained, I did work with a lot of moms and support a lot of moms through their birthing experience. I just wasn't officially trained. So, I've
Mhm.
been sitting in on births since 2012, like literally since I was a senior in high school. And so I got officially trained last year because I saw the need to get trained.
Mhm.
I saw that there was a need in our community. I was finding that a lot of moms that I was working with, I was working in a program called Healthy Start, which is like an early intervention program to help support moms who are high risk. So, they may have multiple children under 5, or they may have a child with learning disabilities, or be impoverished or suffer from some kind of like depression, anxiety, or just a group of risk factors that would make them higher risk and need support. And so I
Right.
worked with these moms, and I was finding I worked with them from prenatal up until their children were 3. And I was finding that many of my moms were um, being told by their OBs that they had to have C sections. Many were being told at 37 weeks that they wouldn't dilate, um, or that they weren't a good candidate for VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after a cesarean. So I was just like, yeah, this doesn't seem right, And I would kind of talk
Hmm.
to them about, like what is the doctor saying? Like what are the risk factors? Like what are they telling you? And a lot of them just was like they just said that it wouldn't happen, and it just seemed like they weren't being given all of their rights. They weren't being educated on all of the risk factors. And so I was just like, yeah, I need to do something about this. Like this is what I love. I love talking about birth. I love really just trying to close that gap because it's really scary. Childbirth is scary. Pregnancy is scary. Um, I suffered from perinatal mood disorder when I was pregnant with my daughter and afterwards. So I definitely know how scary it can be, and how much support, you need during that period. And I'm just like, I love doing it. I love being there for my moms, um,
Hmm.
and supporting them through that. And then I also have a passion for breastfeeding. So I was just like, I need to just go ahead and do it. And so I
See,
did it.
and yes, and that's the good thing about it as well. You're a critical thinker, number one. And when you're an advocate for someone, you spend more time. And this is what I'm starting to find is that it's more important to have people who spend time and become an advocate for some of the disorders and diseases that we're starting to um, witness.
Hmm.
And just by hearing you say that, it's like, to me, that's where we're able to fill in with the doctors and let them know what exactly it is that is needed.
Hmm. Yes, definitely, definitely. And it's when we're with our clients, we're not there to be combative with the doctor. I actually rarely speak with the doctors or nurses. When I say I'm being an advocate, it just means that I'm educating my clients to feel empowered enough to advocate for themselves. Many doulas will say they aren't advocates, and I think that's primarily doulas that are not of color. We found that the accrediting bodies will say a doula is not an advocate, but for Black women, we're very much an advocate. And their definition of advocate is someone who speaks for you, and Black doulas, um, our our definition of advocate is empowering our clients to feel able to speak up, to ask questions, to feel like they have the knowledge to defend themselves, or get the access to the care that they deserve. So
Exactly.
we many um doulas of color, Black doulas in particular, have found that after getting trained, we kind of veer off and self educate and build our own curriculums. I actually have a fellow doula that I work with in Houston, who just launched a curriculum, and I work closely with her on that. Like trying to help support her in that. So because it's hard to go into this field when you don't have a community to support you. Many white doulas feel like we're doing a disservice to
Hmm.
the doula community by offering low cost services or offering pro bono services.
Hmm.
But it's like the community that we're serving, if it's unaffordable, that's the community that needs it the most. The
Right.
community that is impoverished, they have the highest rates of maternal and infant death, like, or complications during pregnancy. People that are impoverished have a higher risk for certain um, prenatal illnesses. So if that's the population that needs us, why
Hmm.
wouldn't we attempt to accommodate them,
Exactly. I
and make
agree.
it affordable for them to attain the services? Because it's no point if of us doing the work that we're doing. Many of us got into it to help our community, our peers,
That's
and
right.
so if
And
we're raising the price so high where they can't afford it, or not offering a sliding scale to help work with someone who maybe has a lower income, then what am I really doing? Like, why did I really get into this work if I'm not helping the population that I got into this work to help? So, we kind
mhm.
of clash, a lot in that sense. And so essentially what we're working on doing, many doulas of color are working on building their own accrediting bodies, and education on the processes in our body, the things that we're African Americans, Black people, we're at higher risk for hypertension and diabetes and all of these health factors that play a role in pregnancy and what pregnancy looks like for us. So,
Hmm.
you know, it's important that as a professional, when I'm working with this population, that I'm educated on these, and the general trainings that we get, they don't necessarily focus on the issues that may be difference, maybe a difference, you know. So we just, you know, for us by us, you know, we working
Right.
on building our own, and you know, just like with the lactation um counselor, you know, I chose to do that because, yeah, there are lactation counselors and lactation consultants, but not many that look like me, you know. So when you have a young Black mom who already is on the fence about breastfeeding, and she's going into this session with this lactation counselor, and she's telling this lactation counselor how no one in her family has breastfed before, or that, you know, maybe her parents don't agree with her breastfeeding, and they don't understand or they can't offer any support to that, then, you know, of course she's not going to continue to breastfeed, you know. Of course this is an extra barrier. So, you know, there are different issues. You know, we breastfeed at lower rates. And so me being a Black woman and knowing some of the things that I've heard in our community, I can help address that and help be someone that say, "Hey, I look like you. I did it. Girl, I know how you feel." Like, you know, I heard that too. Or,
Hmm.
you know, just having a support group for Black women that are breastfeeding. You know, like I've been to support groups that were for breastfeeding, and it was predominantly white. And when I say, you know, my grandma asked me, when that baby gonna get off that breast? Like, you know,
Hmm.
you know, because they walking, they looking at me like, what? You know, because they breastfeed their children longer. So it's just like this level of, you know, we you can't relate, you know, we can't identify with that. So having someone that can identify with that, that of course is going to make you feel comfortable, and make you feel more supported. So I mean, that's why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. That's why I'm partnering with other doulas and birth workers of color. You know, every day I'm trying to network and reach out to other people that are trying to support the cause, support the goal, you know?
Right. And I like that too. I like the fact that uh, with both of us being Black women of
Mm-hmm.
color, that we're able to understand our own community and give that extra care, because you could be of different race and you can't possibly understand the struggle of the Black community, which is
Mm-hmm.
where the disconnect is coming from. So I
Definitely.
yeah, I like that. I like that you feel the same way. And if many of us who have a ear to hear or have that compassion to get into the community and let them know that we do support them, and we may have to take a loss financial, we may not be able to charge what we normally charge because there are so many people that need assistance, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't, it's just like they should not reject service because they can't afford it, which is why I really feel the need to get in the community and help those that need the help. And I
Mm-hmm.
refuse to push people away just because they can't afford it.
Right.
So I commend you on what you're doing. Well, Missy, I think what we're going to have to do is keep having you on, keep bringing awareness, and pretty much perfect this podcast where it comes to the audio. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that we can reduce some of this buffering or some of this crackling, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not really sure how to do it, but it is our first one. And as we say, go ahead and give all your handles, and
Okay.
then we'll close
Okay.
out.
I'm Shantae Love, aka Brown Girl Birthing. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Brown Girl Birthing. You can also find me at www.browngirlbirthing.com, or at browngirlbirthing@gmail.com. And so if you could just like and follow my Facebook and Instagram, I'm always dropping information, tidbits of knowledge about birth, breastfeeding, car seat safety, really anything related to women's health, prenatal and after birth, as well as infant uh, attachment. So, yes, just follow me, like my page, so that you can stay tuned.
That would be great. I thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see how this audio is doing. Um, I was trying to welcome some of the uh, guests to speak, but I don't know. We'll see how it works and how it goes, and we'll also apply it to Simply Jewel TV on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that when people go back to listen, they will get some good information.
Yes, thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate you allowing me the platform to just kind of get information out there, because a lot of people don't know this information. And most importantly, we just want to drop those jewels, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. As we say, knowledge is power, and hopefully more people will get involved. And like I said, we'll regroup, perfect, and we'll try it again. Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.